In a peaceful countryside town, a close-knit religious community thrived under the guidance of Father Michael and Sister Mary. Recent security cameras discreetly installed in the church aimed to prevent vandalism, but what they captured went far beyond expectations. A stormy night followed a large prayer gathering, leaving an uneasy atmosphere and mysterious occurrences. Thomas, tasked with reviewing the footage, noticed unusual shadows during prayers, sparking curiosity and fear among a small group. As they delved into the recordings, what they uncovered made the entire community's faces turn pale. But before we start our story, smash the like button. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notifications bell so you won't miss any new stories. In the quiet, serene countryside town, the daily lives of the residents revolved around the church. Families would gather every morning and evening for prayers and community events. A strong sense of unity bound everyone together under the spiritual guidance of Father Michael and Sister Mary, whose presence was deeply respected and cherished. The cameras were discreetly placed to make everyone feel comfortable while ensuring security. The technicians, working efficiently and quietly, installed the cameras without disrupting the daily routine of the church. A week after the installation of the cameras, the church organized a large prayer gathering for a special feast day celebration. The smell of freshly baked bread and flowers filled the air. Father Michael and Sister Mary prepared for the influx of people, making sure everything was in place for the event. During the prayers, everything seemed normal. The congregation was deeply immersed in devotion. The camera's red lights blinked, unnoticed, capturing every moment. The people's focus was entirely on their faith, unaware of the unsettling discovery that awaited them. Father Michael delivered a powerful sermon that moved many to tears. "We must stand together," he urged, his voice filled with emotion. The congregation nodded in agreement, some wiping their eyes. After the congregation disperses, a storm hits the town, causing minor destruction and power outages. Whispers of eerie sights and sounds during the storm spread through the community, adding to the unease caused by the natural chaos. Everyone huddles inside, feeling a strange sense of dread. Skimming through the video files, Thomas notices that during one of the prayer sessions, the room seems to flicker briefly. The flicker is so subtle that it's easy to miss, but it nags at him. He rewinds and watches it again. There it is, a quick dimming and return to normal lighting. Puzzled, Thomas checks the timestamp and notes the exact moment, intending to investigate further later. Dismissing it as a glitch, Thomas grows curious. At home, while helping neighbors recover from the storm, he can't shake the feeling something isn't right. That evening, he discusses the flicker with Laura, his tech-savvy friend. Over coffee, she suggests they investigate together. The next day, Laura joins him at the church. They watch the footage and the flicker happens again. "That's odd," Laura says. They replay it multiple times but can't identify a cause. After checking all cables and settings, nothing seems wrong. Curious, they review recordings from other cameras. Hours later, they spot it. Fleeting shadows appearing and disappearing quickly. "There it is again," Thomas exclaims. The shadows seem deliberate, always during prayer or confession. Disturbed, they seek advice from Mrs. Green, a respected church member known for her faith. When she watches the footage, her expression hardens. "This isn't normal," she says. "It could be a sign, a message from the divine." She urges them to show Father Michael. The next day, they cautiously present the footage to Father Michael. At first skeptical, his concern grows as he re-watches the shadows. "This is unexpected," he says, frowning. He asks if they've ruled out technical issues. When Thomas confirms, Father Michael decides they need a deeper investigation. He forms a small group with Thomas, Laura, and Mrs. Green. They meet at night to analyze patterns. The shadows consistently appear during intense spiritual moments, such as prayers of exorcism or confession. Meanwhile, whispers spread among church members about eerie occurrences during services. Anxiety rises, and Father Michael knows they need answers soon. They meticulously log the time, date, and nature of each shadow occurrence. Laura creates a spreadsheet detailing every observation. This will help us find a pattern, she explains. Thomas sets up alerts for any new activity. Father Michael notes, another shadow, same time as yesterday's confession. Their records aim to piece together the mystery. Father Michael initiates more frequent prayer sessions, urging divine intervention. Faith is our shield, he declares. Sister Mary leads fervent prayers, uniting the uneasy congregation. The community draws strength from these gatherings, hopeful their faith can dispel the unseen threat. Meanwhile, the church undergoes storm repairs. Workers replace broken windows and tiles. A strong facade will help calm people, Thomas remarks as he supervises. Laura agrees, though tension simmers beneath the surface. The group juggles appearances with confronting the eerie presence. The team becomes consumed by their investigation, spending sleepless nights reviewing footage and logs. We need proof, Thomas insists, exhausted. Laura's eyes burn from hours of watching monitors, yet they persist. Determined, they lock the church and stay overnight with additional cameras. Every angle is covered, Thomas assures. Father Michael leads a quiet prayer, the silence amplifying every noise. Shadows from flickering candles create an eerie atmosphere as they remain on edge. Suddenly, a shadow appears, more defined than before, gliding toward the altar. "Look," Thomas whispers. The figure moves purposefully before vanishing. Mrs. Green crosses herself, trembling. They document it all, their fear palpable but their resolve firm. The group records diligently, knowing they're closer to the truth. "Keep steady," Laura says, her voice shaking. The presence feels stronger now. "We need every second of this," she emphasizes. Even skeptics within the group acknowledge the undeniable. Convinced they need help, Father Michael consults higher clergy. "We have their support," he tells the group, "but not everyone believes us." Laura insists on gathering stronger evidence, while Mrs. Green says, "Faith will guide us." Rumors spread, causing fear and dwindling attendance. "We need to control this," Laura warns. Father Michael addresses the congregation, urging calm and faith. Despite the unease, the group feels a renewed sense of purpose as they prepare for the next steps. The day of the spiritual cleansing service arrived. The atmosphere was tense as the townsfolk gathered, their hearts filled with anticipation and fear. "Let's stay strong," Sister Mary encouraged a group of nervous parishioners. The church filled quickly, the murmur of anxious voices creating a palpable tension. Father Michael prepared the altar, setting out holy water and incense, ready to confront whatever had disturbed their peace. Father Michael and the senior clergy began the spiritual cleansing service with solemn prayers and rituals. The congregation watched as he sprinkled holy water around the church, chanting ancient prayers. "We seek protection and purification," he intoned. The senior clergy joined, their unified voices resonating through the church. These prayers and rituals aimed to sanctify the space, hoping to expel any malevolent presence that might linger within the sacred walls. The lights in the church flickered ominously as Father Michael's prayers reached a fervent pitch. Strange sounds echoed through the sanctuary, causing some people to look around nervously. Despite these unsettling signs, Father Michael persisted, pouring his faith and conviction into every word. "Stay strong," Sister Mary urged. The service climaxed without any visible resolution, leaving the congregation with more questions than answers, their faith tested but unbroken. The tension became palpable as parishioners began to demand clarity. "What did we just experience?" asked James, a regular attendee. Father Michael could see the worry etched on every face. "We need answers," another voice called out. Sister Mary tried to calm the crowd. "Let's give Father Michael time." The congregation agreed reluctantly, their anxiety rising. Father Michael knew they couldn't wait much longer to address the situation properly. The community collectively held its breath, longing for an answer that would explain their recent ordeals. "We need something that aligns with our beliefs," a parishioner mentioned privately. Whispers of hope, mingled with doubt, spread through the congregation like wildfire. As the clergy reviewed the footage, everyone waited anxiously. Father Michael understood the stakes. This wasn't just about solving a mystery, but restoring peace and faith to his flock. The final review of the footage stunned everyone in the room. The shadowy figure was clearer than ever, but it wasn't malevolent. "Look closer," Father Michael pointed out. The outline resembled an older woman, not a terrorizing entity. "What could this mean?" Sister Mary asked, her voice tinged with both relief and puzzlement. The senior clergy exchanged glances, unsure of what they had seen but knowing it would change their approach. The realization dawned slowly. The figure appearing in the footage looked like someone familiar within their community. "Is it someone we know?" Laura asked, eyes wide. They scrutinized the footage again, the image becoming more defined. Could she be the source or a victim? Thomas pondered aloud. Agnes was known for her pure faith and piety. "She was the heart of our community," Mrs. Green reminisced. Father Michael nodded. "She never missed a prayer, always helping others." Laura pulled up an old photo of Agnes. "It's definitely her," she confirmed. Thomas sat back. But what does this mean for us? The realization weighed on them. Agnes's spirit could be lingering with a purpose to fulfill. Further analyzing the context, they realized that this figure always appears during moments indicating healing and divine intervention. "Look here," Tom pointed, showing her presence during a prayer for the sick. "And here," Laura added, during a confession seeking forgiveness. Father Michael's eyes sparkled. "She's guiding us." They pored over the footage as hope replaced fear, feeling that Agnes's spirit was offering something more profound to their community. Father Michael interprets these occurrences as Agnes's spirit protecting and guiding the congregation. "She was always a beacon of faith," he told the group earnestly. Laura nodded. "It feels like she's still watching over us." Mrs. Green clasped her hands. "This is divine intervention." Thomas smiled. "It's comforting." Father Michael stood tall, determined to share this revelation with the church, to transform their fear into a reaffirmation of faith. The community's pale faces slowly returned to color, filled with newfound reverence and hope. Children whispered gleefully about the guardian spirit, and adults discussed it over dinner. "Agnes watches over us," Mrs. White said, comforting her neighbor. Smiles returned, laughter echoed. "We're blessed," Father Michael said in a quieter gathering. The fear that had dulled their spirits lifted, replaced by a bright faith renewed by Agnes's presence, united more than ever by the belief in divine protection and benevolence. The church became a stronger community, bound by a shared experience. "We must continue Agnes's legacy," Sister Mary encouraged during meetings. Activities to aid the needy intensified. "Let's honor her memory," Tom added. The congregation found solace and strength in their unified faith. Every prayer, every act of kindness carried the belief that Agnes's spirit was guiding them. The community comes together to support each other, fortified by their shared experience. They organized more communal activities like group prayers and charity drives. "It's for Agnes," Father Michael reminded them. "She would be proud." Laura agreed. The bond among them grew stronger. Conversations flowed freely, and smiles became more genuine. They supported each other with renewed vigor, knowing they were united by a common spiritual thread that Agnes's spirit woven into their lives. With a renewed sense of purpose and faith, the community continues to thrive, always mindful of the sacred presence among them. Father Michael's sermons became more powerful, inspiring acts of kindness and faith. "We walk with Agnes's spirit," he declared. Volunteer work surged, and prayer sessions were filled with devoted participants. The church stood strong, a beacon of hope and faith, its congregation united in the knowledge that they were divinely protected and guided.